Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Business Podcast, your source for all things business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Stephen McKean on the line. He's co-founder and CEO over at Billshark. Steve, welcome to the show.
Hey, Adam. Thank you for having me. And certainly during this time in pandemic, I hope you and your family and your listeners are doing well and staying safe.
Oh, man, I really appreciate that. And thank you for taking time out. I know you're a busy guy to come on the show and cover today's topic. So building resilience in the company DNA. I mean, that's a very timely topic, and I want to get into that with you. But before we do, let's get a little bit further into what you're doing over at Billshark. Tell us a little bit more about the company, please.
Yeah, so we'll talk a little bit about the company. So Billshark is a company that I founded with Brian Keeney a couple of years ago. And essentially our mission is to help society thrive through better financial wellness. You know, we certainly believe in this time, financial wellness is going to be very, very key to your mental wellness. And what we do is we do this by creating bill reduction solutions. Our first two solutions that we have in market are negotiating lower bills for, net bills, wireless bills, and we've saved, I believe it's now about $30 million for consumers since we started. And then the second line of business that we have today is cancellations of subscriptions. So as a lot of people are at home more often now, they're going to be accruing subscriptions. And obviously when we get back to a more normalized version of society, they're going to have a lot of subscriptions overhang to cancel. And, we do that through our API partners and through our retail site, billshark.com.
What are awesome service, first off, and I know I've been guilty of subscriptions that I don't use and lots of other things, so you're flushing money down the toilet. What's like your target demographic? So there's some people listening right now. Is it for businesses only? Is it for individuals? Is it for individuals and businesses? Give us a little bit of a feel of your ideal clientele for the right people. Hmm?
Yeah, we've served several 100,000 consumers and small businesses so far. So our service is primarily for consumers in the United States and Canada, and for small businesses generally with those under 100 employees. And our typically the demographic we serve is our best customer is generally in their mid 30s. Call it an Amazon Prime customer. Someone that is in the beginnings of forming their family. So, we serve customers from 23 years old to 80 years old, but that real sweet spot is, in that mid-30s range.
Awesome. Let's get into today's topic. So, building resilience into company DNA. Where do you want to start with that one?
Yeah, so I appreciate you, giving me the opportunity and platform, to talk a little bit about this. So, I've been an entrepreneur since 1996, and have built and sold a couple of companies, between then and now. And so I had I've gone through 9/11, gone through the financial crisis in 2008, and gone through other adversity that was macroeconomically introduced. And I can tell you that this is the hardest and worst one, without a doubt. So when you had 9/11, it was awful and it had an impact, but outside of New York and Washington, the rest of the country was intact. And the 2008 crisis was really focused on banking, but this is everywhere. There is no safe place. And so when we I think when you look at building resilience, it all starts with the team and culture. Okay, and so you have to have a team that's going to fight for each other. You're going to have a team that is going to be disciplined and wake up every day. It absolutely, when you start to build in resilience, it starts with the team. And then if you go one layer deeper, it starts with the mindset. All right, so you have to have the right people and you have to have that right mindset. And a lot of that right mindset is, hey, what can we learn from this situation? We can't be victims. We have to wake up every day with a positive attitude. I mean, it literally all starts, resilience all starts with mindset. And it all starts with those people that you pick from the beginning to be on your team. When we started building Bill Shark, we didn't know, but we assumed that in the future there would be, another shock. We never knew what it would be, but we assumed it would come. We saw it with 9/11. We saw it with 2008. And it's just a matter of time. So we always assumed when we're building companies that there'll be an issue. So it all starts with your team and your mindset. And so once you have that core team with that core mindset, it all begins, it layers on there with culture. And this is where culture becomes so important for a company because everyone's had to go to remote. Okay, everyone's remote. Everyone's on their Zoom calls. Everyone's on their phones doing their business. But if you don't have the right culture, to stay focused on your customer, to stay focused on the mission, which in our case is, better society, through, financial, better financial wellness. If you don't have that culture in place, it's going to fall apart. And so I think those are the core beginnings. But you have to start at the very, very beginning of your company with this. And I think the overarching thing to resilience is what I call the anti-fragile mindset. So you have the fixed mindset, which is, hey, things are what they are. I can't learn anything else. I can't change anything. To a growth mindset where you can continuously learn and grow. But the anti-fragile mindset is the growth mindset plus assuming things will go wrong. All right. So, I'll pause there and let you ask questions because there are other aspects to building resilience into your DNA, but culture, mindset, and your team are the pillars. If you haven't started with that, then you have no hope of building resilience.
So let's assume that that maybe some of the people listening here haven't thought of this concept prior to going into nobody's saw this coming, obviously. What are some of the things that people can do with their existing team and employees that you found are helpful to kind of, I won't say turn things around as in everything's going terrible, but I mean just to improve or just to make steps towards some of those goals that you laid out?
Yeah, so I think the very first thing we need to start thinking about is this won't be the last time. All right, so I don't know if we'll have another pandemic, if there'll be a second wave, or maybe in 7 years the big thing is some cyber terrorist attack, that shuts down the country. I don't know what it is, but there'll be something. All right,
for sure.
So what you're going to have to do today, as that entrepreneur, as that founder, as that owner, is take some time to reflect. Take some time to reflect on your purpose, your own purpose as an entrepreneur, your vision, okay, and what you want to build culturally. And then what you have to do is you're going to have to take what you're doing now and filter through that. Does that make sense? So as an entrepreneur, maybe you haven't done this before. My counsel would be take some time to reflect. What is the right mission, vision, and purpose, for my company? What do I want my team to look like? And you may want to take what you have today and filter through that. It is a reset, and it gives you an opportunity, to reset and reboot some. It really does.
That's awesome.
And yes, of course. But by the way, there are the practical considerations of have enough cash on the balance sheet, be serving your customers and all that. You have to do all of it. It's all the blocking and tackling. But I would strongly urge any entrepreneur that hasn't built in anti-fragility, take this opportunity to reflect and think through some of that stuff.
So, Steve, I'll tell you, I could talk to you about this all day long, and I know we just scratched the surface, but we're about out of time on this episode. That being said, if somebody's listening to this, I told you it would. If somebody's listening to this and they want more information on Bill Shark or to connect with you and your team, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, so I think the best way to to connect with me or Bill Shark is just tweet at us at Real Bill Shark. It's at Real Bill Shark on Twitter. And if anyone wants to reach out, if they want to correspond via email, they can reach me at steve@billshark.com. It's a really tough time, for younger entrepreneurs. There's a bunch of us that have been through it before. There is a path and there is a way to get through it. And I know what it's like to be the entrepreneur up late at night, trying to figure out and try to find an answer. And I'm certainly happy to correspond with anyone via email to help in any way.
No, that's awesome. Well, hey, Steve, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about all the great work you're doing over at Bill Shark, and, of course, today's topic, building resilience into your company DNA. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. I hope you got a lot of help from this. I hope you got a lot of motivation, inspiration. If you did, don't forget, subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store, and if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Business, definitely give us a subscribe there, but leave us some comments on the video. Love to know what kind of things you're working on, and keep the conversation going over in the YouTube community. And Steve, thanks again for coming on the show.